Tragedy strikes Jumadong from within, as fate catches up to Mr. Lim. In the previous episode, the show started planting seeds for an eventual character arc for him, and in episode 11, we learn all about Mr. Lim's previous life and how difficult his life was with his mother. The class system wreaked havoc on them both. Eventually, his mother's past catches up to her in the form of rumors, and Ryung-gu finds out. After her mother is assaulted, he has some very harsh and painful words for her, which leads to her taking her life.
하필이면 당신 같은 사람이 내 어미란 게 부끄럽고 수치스럽고 역겨워!
The story continues into episode 12, where we learn that Mr. Lim's mother, Lim Yuhua, is expecting. Mr. Lim is now on the sales team, and it's up to Miss Koo and Jung-won to make sure Yuhua does not take her life and sever the thread of fate connecting her to her lost child.
What's up, Sunday fam? Welcome back to another video. We're talking about episode 11 and 12 of Tomorrow, and this one was very, very sad. A huge tearjerker of the two episodes.
Yeah, it was very heartbreaking to learn about what happened to Mr. Lim's mother in the past. We get taken into the Seguk era of this historical drama, I guess. It was just so painful to see what type of life he had to go through, being kind of born as a bastard and his mom having been a prostitute and then going through that really, really awful circumstance before she takes her life. And that was just like, whew.
I might have known a little bit of it, but it's just so weird to me how, you know, the world was in such a time where you could not read or write based on your class.
The class system is awful back in the old times. So as much as we romanticize that kind of historical setting, it's probably a terrible time to live.
I mean, a lot of the period stuff that we watch is from the eyes of like the lost prince and
It's
the lost
romanticized,
princess.
yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And this part of his life was just so tragic. When that stuff happens to his mother, he goes off on her, and
Yeah,
that's
it was
some of the
terrible.
stuff you just don't think to ever say to your mother.
Absolutely. And happy Mother's Day to all of you
Mother's Day.
mothers out there. This episode was definitely timely. It was dedicated to mothers, just in the kind of very tragic way, right?
Yes.
And we find out, jumping into episode 12, his mom, or his reincarnated mom, is expecting and suffers through complication of stillbirth. And that is, again, another tragic tale. Like, how far does this kind of cycle of ill fortune, keep going?
We got some hints of this from the director herself and from Miss Koo, that like there are some scars that take
Right.
multiple lives to heal, and I'm wondering how long it takes to heal some scars.
깊은 후회와 상처일수록 여러 생을 통해야만 옅어질 테니까.
And we see an instance where Jung-gil is escorting a child who
yes.
had passed from a car accident, and he's trying to keep her from seeing her parents in that state.
Because it kind of goes with you even in your afterlife.
Yes.
Even when you're reincarnated, those scars reappear from time to time. And it was very similar to Mr. Lim's mom. He was like, the scars of her taking her life can revisit her in her reincarnated life, which is what kind of leads us down to this path where she almost takes her life by taking sleeping pills or overdosing on sleeping pills. So they're stuck in this dreamscape now.
And as Miss Koo goes into this dream, at the start, I kind of felt like she was being a little bit kind of rough around the edges. There. It's like, this is a dream. You have a fake baby.
Oh my God.
And I was just like, whoa, bedside manner here.
Right,
you
right,
know?
right. I mean, like, I think she has to do what she has to do. She has
Yeah.
to snap her out of it before it's too late. Because if she does die there, they die as well. So they can't get out of that dreamscape. And so she's probably trying to rush everything, but without really thinking about it twice until Mr. Lim shows up.
And that is the catalyst that kind of breaks her out of her circular thinking. When he comes in and he says, hey, she's never going to be able to see Honeybee again. So we really need to kind of approach this carefully. And so those are the words that start you on the path of redemption, or the path of like fixing things.
Of getting out of that situation.
Yes.
It was very touching to know that babies will instinctively know who their parents are, or especially who their mother is, because it's the first time they've ever felt that love, right? Even when they're still in the womb. And it's very touching towards the end of the episode where they're at the beach and she's writing a letter to her stillborn baby, or her baby that's in Jumadong.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know. And
well, the
and
end
it
of
passes through, right?
Yeah, the end of the episode shows that the director is reading the letters to children, lost children, and she reads the one specifically to Honeybee. And just at the end there, before it kind of cuts off, it's like, let's go see mommy and daddy. And of course, that probably happened. But then Ryung-gu chooses to show up makes an executive decision, has no permission whatsoever to... And now they have this touching moment where the mother and son finally have their reconciliation.
And for Mr. Lim, it's about his regret, right? Like what he had to say, what he said before her mother took her life was probably the worst thing you can do. And that was kind of like an interesting turn when he had to take revenge and, you know, like how he became a Reaper. So we kind of closed that arc on Mr. Lim and his backstory. And that leads us into even more of a mystery between Jung-gil and Miss Koo.
Yeah, the plot thickens, so to speak, when it comes to them as they figure out, you know, they do, in fact, probably have some kind of involvement with each other's lives.
Of course, yeah.
And when Jung-gil goes to visit the archives, he's like, I would like to see my past life. And the person in charge there says it's been locked down by the director. And we also find out that Miss Koo's past life has been locked down. So what is this mystery? Why is the director locking down these past lives?
You know, we've been speculating in our past videos, right? That they were lovers, or they were husbands and wives, or they were related to each other in some capacity. He was wielding a sword, she was trying to kill herself, or he was trying to stop her. So they both must have committed terrible sins to each other, and it's up to them to recollect these memories without the permission to unlock it in the archives.
Yeah, I mean, in one case, we have Miss Koo trying to take her life and someone trying to stop her. And then, of course, she is successful in taking her own life.
Right.
But then in another case, we see Jung-gil, you know, slashing down some people, and then Miss Koo coming out is like, is this how you were taught to wield your sword? So when is that happening in their timeline? And when... And is it the same life? Like, do they encounter each other in different lives?
I'm starting to think that it's two different lives, but they're together in these two different lives. Maybe in their first life, she's successful of ending her own life, and in the second life, the second time that they're together, he may have taken his own life as well. It might have been the same types of scars, like when the child passed and the mom survived. Jung-gil prevents her from looking behind so that scar won't be on her soul for forever. And so maybe that has like some kind of hints into like what happened between them in some kind of situation where they both lamented on the situation and is scarred forever.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We have Choi Jun-woong's arc from the previous episodes with his mother, and then Mr. Lim's arc with his mother here, and so I'm pretty sure that this show is leaning towards an ending where it is the arc of Miss Koo and Jung-gil.
Well, in any case, that is it for us, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. Leave us a like, leave your comments in the section below, tap that bell so you know when we post new videos, subscribe if you haven't already, and once again, you have a great and amazing day. We'll see you next time.
Hey, oh, oh, you 내겐 관심이 없죠. 난 그래도 그대 내요.